So hopefully, the Prime Sentinels are a little bit more intelligent about how their pick ban phase goes.
And we've said say no to drugs, say no to racism, and Prime Sentinel just said no to Kassadin.
Right, so the Kassadin did do a lot, especially since Prime Sentinel discovered last game that even if they sent their dual lane to the mid lane and tried to 2v1 the Kassadin, the results weren't that spectacular, or at least they weren't what the Prime Sentinel hoped for. So they do decide to ban out, the two of the big carries, Kassadin and Jax, and they do decide to ban the Braum, which is interesting because usually you ban those champions if you're on purple side, not blue side.
Oh, and now Lee Sin banned from Invengers. Maybe that's Necklace saying that if I can't have it, you can't have it. But LeBlanc first pick.
LeBlanc first pick. The Lulu and Nidalee instantly come out. This is really interesting because this probably means that 0903 is going to again take the Lulu to the top lane where he played top Lulu in both of the sets against AFT champs, even though truth be told, it was Miso that played Jax and then went to the top lane and 0903 rotated to the middle lane.
Right. And truth be told, I could rhyme like Talib Kweli, but excuse me, but now Leona being hovered over and Anu's being hovered over as well. That was an awkward moment for me. That was my Jay-Z fan. Do you like Jay-Z?
I do know of Jay-Z. I do not know him personally. Okay, I would like to meet him though.
I think he might be a great guy.
He has a beautiful wife.
He has a beautiful wife, and apparently their marriage has some problems. But that is for Ellen DeGeneres to talk about. And now it seems like Wukong's jungle is going to get locked in.
Right, I'm surprised. So what I was...
Warwick. Okay. Oh, man, it should have been a Warwick.
Right. I'm really surprised, in fact, that the Invengers let this Nami go through because... especially since the LeBlanc was already picked, they didn't have to worry about the Nidalee being picked in a latter rotation. So they could have given Kish his Nami, but for some reason they wanted to show their solo lanes extremely early. So I'm really wondering, what's up from this side of the Invengers. And Nidalee is not a champion that does particularly well against LeBlanc. So, just the rotations that are going to come out from these two teams are going to be pretty interesting. I suspect that 0903 is going to play the Lulu and try to match up against Rabbit's LeBlanc into the middle lane, and that Miso might take the Nidalee to the top lane.
And Jarvan. Probably a jungle Jarvan, but we've seen top Jarvan be picked too.
Right. Probably is a jungle Jarvan. Jungle Jarvan is very nice with a Shyvana, with a Nami, the Tidal Wave Aqua Prison combo. From the side of Invengers, this is really a Siege Pokey-esque composition, and there are a lot of reasons why this can go wrong. Specifically because if you have an assassin and two tanky initiators on the others...
the cannon hover just made me freeze a little bit too.
On the other side, then especially and the Twitch, you're gonna have a lot of problems in a straight up team fight. So the goal for the Avengers is to keep sieging towers throughout the game, and then when they feel that their flanks are being aggressed upon, they're going to be using the Necklace Elise. They're going to be using Kish's Sona to disengage quite well.
And Twitch is probably more likely than an AD Kennen. Not taking anything away from Wound, but
AD Kennen is viable, I think.
Oh, really?
In solo queue, I've seen people stomp with AD Kennen.
Viable and a great pick is different things.
They're very different things.
They took Nami away from Kish, but now Kish has the Sona, now Roar has the Kog'Maw.
The only thing is that when you have a Sona Lulu, and that means really great peel for Kog'Maw, especially with the Nidalee heal as well. But this composition is so vulnerable to flank attacks. If Gom and Pocket get the right initiates onto the Invengers are just going to melt so easily.
And they do have the perfect composition for flank.
The Sona pick is really interesting because usually, Sona, in Korea, Sona is made to flash crescendo all the time.
FC.
Yeah, right, FC. And they're going to, but in this situation, really it's going to be about Kish trying to peel for his carries, and there are, in fact, 3 quite squishy carries on the side of the Invengers, and 0903's Lulu, Roar's Kog'Maw, and Miso's Nidalee. So this is a really risky composition coming out from the Invengers. I actually think speaking about talking about Sona, and we talked about LeBlanc before and her incoming changes in 4.10. According to PBE, there's going to be a new item called Arcane Cleanser, I believe it's called, and basically it buffs champions like Sona, and I think that Sona will see a lot of time.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that too. Like when you heal someone,
it gives them an attack speed buff. So I do think Sona will see a lot of time in Summoner's Rift after those new items come out.
Oh man, imagine going into a 2v2 lane against Caitlyn Sona.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn Sona, I think Nami Caitlyn, Nami Cog, and also Alistar are going to be very popular, in the next meta.
Now we move on to the super records. The first quadra kill ever in this season, not ever, Prime Sentinel's Rabbit. Most kills in a game in Invengers, Miso with 10 kills, but that just got changed last game,
yeah,
right?
it did get changed last game. I believe Roar had something like 13 kills.
Right.
And Roar also had it was an unofficial quadra kill just because of the delayed time. But I'll give that to him in my book.
I will give that to him in my book as well. I mean, and the most CS per minute Prime Sentinel's Gome. Most damage done was Invengers Miso.
Right.
So last game it was Roar carrying, and this game it might be Miso.
Yeah, I still believe that Roar has toppled at least a few of these records so far. And we see the death counter. Detonation FM, the Japanese top laner, Udaproid. He had 6 deaths. That was the second set. That was not a pretty game. Even though it was much better than the first game, the Japanese still got relatively crushed.
But much to look forward to from that scene, though.
Yeah.
And I'm just really happy to see Roar doing well. He always seemed like a bit of an unfortunate case to me that he had the talent, but he just didn't have the right circumstance to really show it.
Right. I mean, you and I argue. I think you said it was he was on the Jinner Stealth, and I said it was in the Falcons. I think you're actually right. I just remembered that both Render and Roar were on the Jinner Stealth, and they competed in the NLB with that roster. And both Render and Roar really impressed me this past NLB split. Of course, they switched it up. 2 NLB splits ago. Of course, they switched it up, and now they have Fly and Captain Jack at those positions now for the stealths. But I still think Roar is a really good AD carry, and he's certainly showing, how good he is on champions like Ezreal in the NLB. I actually think, all the way...
He was on Falcons.
He was on the Falcons? My bad. But then I think...
Well, you still have better memory than I do because I don't even remember that discussion.
Right. I think, all the way back to Champions Winter, there was a game with Roar. I think it was Roar and Reaper were on the same team. And that was like an absolutely, one of the bloodiest games we had ever seen in Roar. Yes. Yeah, Roar amassed something like 20 kills that game. I still remember that. So maybe chat remembers better than I do. But, Roar's Ezreal has always been fairly renowned in Korea.
Oh, man, but
and he shows it.
And you have talked about Rapid, and my God, that name brings back so many nostalgic memories for me. I mean, I wonder how he's doing. He
casted for the OG and Masters tournament, right?
Yeah. So it seems like Nofe is doing that now too.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. I mean, he posted some pictures of food on his Facebook last night, and it's good to see that he's eating good food, right? I mean, how important is good food in life?
As my fellow hustlers would say, you gotta eat. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's good to see that Reaper still is, he's still involved with the scene. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets picked up as a coach somewhere. If he already hasn't been picked up as a coach. So, unfortunately, I don't follow Reaper on Facebook. So. I'll have to wait for, maybe Reddit to post an article.
About Reppard?
Yeah, about Reppard. You call him Reppard, I call him Reapard. I think Reppard is how Koreans pronounce ex-KT member Leopard.
Actually, it's Reaper D. Do you know what? That's a shorthand for Reaper Death. So a bit of a cheesy middle school sort of a thing going on there.
When you're that good at League of Legends, I think you can pull off some cheesy
names. Did you know
names.
that he used to write a fiction on the internet?
Like what kind of fiction are we talking about?
It was just like this fantasy sort of a thing, and he just talked about he just wrote move on to set 2 of the round of 16 Group A final between Prime Sentinel and the Invengers, and both gold items starts. Those 2 items, it seems like it just benefits. It suits well with both supports.
Right. I mean, yeah, they have the GP10 items. The stars. Yeah. So sorry. The star on his Nami as well as Kish on Sona are champions that synergize very well with that item. I don't remember what the level 1 GP10 item is called, but I will research that when I get home or look that up. Again, going back to the Invengers composition, this is a comp team where Necklet does have to get some early plays, because if they go into the laning phase from behind, they're just going to get stomped so easily, especially since Gom does have the teleport. Unfortunately for the side of Prime Sentinel, I will say that Gom's teleport usage hasn't been the greatest, even against the Detonation FM, a team that was vastly inferior to Prime Sentinel. So I'm really interested to see how Gom on his Shyvana, comes in on, some of the more interesting flanks, and how they're able to take down the composition from the Invengers.
And maybe something to look forward to is that the Graduate now is on his Twitch. And
right.
We have to remember, he didn't do so poorly last game, actually.
No, he didn't do badly at all. I thought he kited. No, well, the Graduate was on Lucian last game.
Right.
Yeah, and then, but I didn't think he did that badly at all. At one point when the enemy AD carry is that fed, there's very little you can do.
There's very little you can do.
Right.
But now he has the Twitch, hard carrying champion. Maybe he'll be able to be more influential this game.
Right. I mean, the big thing is that, especially since the side of Invengers has no real source of hard crowd control or hard engage, the Graduate doesn't really have to feel that careful on his Twitch. I mean, he can go absolutely as hard as he wants to, because, who's going to take him down from the side of the Invengers? Invengers really do have the ultimate true hard poke composition right here. And besides, maybe Necklet's Elise and a Wild Growth knockup coming out from 0903, there isn't that much to fear.
And as much as I love watching professional league, I always, for some reason, prefer standard laning to lane swaps.
Right.
And it seems like the Sona Kog'Maw composition will be ahead in leveling.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the early trades from the supports right there. As I said before, and thank you, ForceCon, for correcting me. The item is called Stealth Thief's Edge. And Sona and Nami are both champions that do very well with that Gold Pretend item. So Kish and the Star will feel very good trading, even though the side of the Invengers does come out ahead on that trade, and I do believe it's because Roar positioned a little bit better than Kish did. One of the things I noticed last game, actually, was that, in terms of bottom lane synergy, Roar wasn't nearly as aggressive as Kish was in lane in terms of positioning, but I'm happy to see that Roar is a little bit more aggressive. He got the solo kill into the Shyvana last game, and this game, his positioning is much more eager to trade than in his previous set against AFT champs.
I think the bot lane duo of Invengers, they both have skins, but Prime Sentinel Nami doesn't wear a skin. Perhaps that is why they leveled up a little slower, because, I mean, skins are a very important aspect of the game, but not much action there. But action will go on in the bot lane. Now, if Jarvan lands his airborne, Kog'Maw will at least burn his flash, but they do sense the gank coming in.
And the Ignite is already burned too.
This is going to be a battle of the mechanics. Who are they going to focus on?
And the teleport coming in.
And the teleport coming in from 0903. Is that going to be enough? That's a great kill.
Really nice kill. And
now the Graduate is maybe taking in too much here, but at the same time,
he flashes in again.
For some strange reason,
he saw the Necklet low and had the double buffs, so he really wanted those double buffs, to apply a few poison stacks and then use the expunge. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get in range for that kill.
Right, and I was just gonna say though that it was a 3v3, but they make an exchange because they force a teleport out of Lulu. But now that Twitch has burned his flesh, it seems like a fair trade now.
Yeah, I mean, there are wins and losses for both sides. First of all, 0903 on his Lulu had to burn the flash. Had to burn the teleport and the flash to get in and grab the kill. But on the other side, the Invengers now have extremely large lane presence, and Necklet was also able to take and refresh his double buffs after killing Pocket's Jarvan 4. So, we said that Necklet would need to make some early plays in order to get his team ahead, and if they didn't want to be steamrolled, because when you have a poke composition and you're behind, then, that spells danger. So Necklet, doing the right things. He read Pocket fairly well, and then he made the right rotation and made the right call to come to the bottom lane. And good teleport from 0903 as well, even though he did give up, a little bit of lane experience to Gom's Shyvana.
And now Necklet knows that the bot lane is the lane that has to be taken care of, so we see hovering him there. So Necklet actually, being the amateur player of this team, pretty much carrying the team early game.
I mean, really just, Necklet has shown his his penchant to carry games ever since the last set. So I'm not surprised that he's doing exactly that this game. And we might see another gank right here. 0903 is coming around.
Is there too.
Ooh,
now Jarvan used this EQ combination, but the Glitterless lands on Jarvan and the Cocoon on him. Necklet might be able to chase him down.
This is a kill.
And this is a kill. And now
a re-engage coming out from Necklet.
Re-engage coming in from Necklet, and the Glitterless lands on LeBlanc, and LeBlanc is forced to flash away, and Gome's flash is burned as well. Invengers coming up, but the Glitterlance almost caught them. So Invengers coming up way ahead.
Right, so Kish actually roamed to the top lane with that, and unfortunately for Prime Sentinel, it looked like there were some communication issues. It looked like at the bottom lane, both members of the dual lane from Prime Sentinel roamed up, but they had no teamfight impact in that particular skirmish. So what that means is that Roar's going to get completely free solo lane experience, as well as, and he's also going to be able to freeze the lane. So, again, really nice early wins coming out from the Invengers, but, given how their team composition is so fragile, I wouldn't give them the game just yet.
And Soldier, to me, but Necklet is spotted, okay.
Right.
But explain to me why Lulu has used this teleport in the bot lane, yet he's not behind on CS.
I mean, I think that's more just the way, Lulu in the top lane operates as a champion. The reason why Lulu is so popular these days is just the wave clear is so good, the CSing is so easy, it's so easy to bully out the opposing laner. So I suspect what happened was that after 0903 teleported to the bottom lane, the Prime Sentinel's bottom lane gave the call for Gom to push the lane up, but they weren't able to push it quickly enough. And Roar does burn the flash to avoid the
Roar's
Aqua
flash is
Prison.
burned, but LeBlanc is coming down in the roam, and Kish's flash is down as well.
Nice
Kish will
juke
try
from
to
Kish.
tank as much damage as possible, and that was a beautiful juke you mentioned, but this is a kill from Kish. But now Nidalee is roaming downwards, and the bubble lands on...
There's a ward there,
Nidalee,
nice
but
kill.
There is a ward there, and will that be another kill? Just enough out of a flash E
double
right
kill?
there.
Nah.
And another kill, perhaps the Cocoon lands, but it seems like Twitch has stealthed it just in time.
Right, so what happened right there was that Miso was actually, he tried to predict where the graduate would go on his Twitch, but then Necklet actually stunned him with a Cocoon, so a little
but
bit
now
of
they have to be
miscommunication
careful. Maybe
there.
Twitch has taken in too much from the pokes. If he hovers around there a little too long.
Right, and he does still have his ambush utility, but I do think it's a little bit unwise for him to come back in.
But they do want to make the pickoff on Kog'Maw, but the chain not landing there, and
Oh
Rabbit...
my goodness. And a turret shot as well.
A turret shot as well, but Roar barely surviving with a sliver of health.
Right.
It's a great idea from LeBlanc, but that chain just falling short just a little bit.
Yeah, Roar was really lucky to escape with his life right there. And that was entirely too aggressive of a play coming out from the Invengers. They should be, completely fine taking the small advantages, whether they be CS leads, whether they be complete control of the lane, and just running with that. They don't have to give up. They don't have to give the early lead that they've garnered through early fights, through early skirmishes, and just give that up with, by tanking a turret shot or two.
Right, and you were talking about maintaining the advantage you already have and not getting too audacious. Kog'Maw already has 30 CS lead over Twitch. Like that is good enough, right?
I mean, just both of these champions scale so well, but when you have a Kog'Maw in this composition, just again, Kog'Maw is very vulnerable to flank attacks. Nidalee is very vulnerable to flanks, but when you do have the heals coming out from both 0903 and Kish's Sona, and if Roar can really, position well this fight, and if Roar can kite out, the fight proficiently, then there are going to be some problems for the side of Prime Sentinel. I mean, it's really on Gom and Pocket to try to turn this game around.
And it seems like both mid laners will safely take the blue, and nothing so unconventional from these teams we see here. But the difference between Shyvana and Lulu is expanding. But is that something we should be concerned about?
Right. I mean, it certainly is. But to reiterate, one of the things that I said, before the cast, was that Pocket really never impressed me that much in his games against Detonation FM, and that Necklet really outshined him in Game 1. And I think it's showing again, because Pocket has seemed completely unable to, look for anything in these lanes.
And now we see another potential 3v3 here, but is Sona going to get to 6 in time?
Oh my god, nice counter
Sona
gank.
Gets the crescendo. but he doesn't, and the Cataclysm lands on Sana.
Right.
Sana forced to back
Another
away,
teleport
but
coming
the
in.
teleport is coming in from both Shyvana and Lulu.
This
but
might
the
be a
glitter
kill.
lance landing on Twitch. This might be a kill right there. Now Shyvana is caught there, taking in a lot of damage there. And Wild Growth saves Kog'Maw,
Oh,
but he
nice
had
Aqua
overextended.
Prison.
A beautiful Aqua Prison punishes Kog'Maw right there. You've talked about overaggression from Invengers. That seems like exactly the case.
I mean, you know, first of all, I think 0903 could have been a little bit more aggressive to grab the kill. 0903 actually realized that the Shyvana was coming in, and so he wanted to use the Wild Growth to knock Golem out of his Dragon's Descent. Okay, second, we might see another fight here.
This might be a pick of. They know that Lulu is low on mana.
dangerous. This is really dangerous. Oh my goodness. This might be a double kill here
This might be a double kill. The minions coming to their aid, but Jarvan is there to back him up.
God,
And Lulu
that's a double
flashes forward, and she'll be happy with that.
That was not good, especially since
Jarvan burned his flash too.
Oh my goodness. Especially since 0903 had previously had a kill. He was relatively fed, and he'd been laning his Shyvana. So that was not a great play coming out. Prime Sentinel should have been, counting their cards, should have been, grateful for Roar to have overextended in that fight, but they've completely given up lane control again by giving up 2 kills to 0903's Lulu. Now that's just a free dragon.
And this is a free dragon, and we just talked about how the Invengers may have made a mistake by overextending, but immediately after that, giving away the double kill to Lulu, not a wise decision.
I mean, and for some reason they do peel off the dragon. I think they should be finishing it right here. I think, the biggest thing right there was that Miso wasn't in position for that. As additionally, when you have this kind of team composition that's so vulnerable to flanks, and when the LeBlanc and the Jarvan 4 is coming in, you don't want to take the brunt of that damage. So, I think they could have finished the dragon, but, nice cautious move for the side of Invengers to peel off and just go ahead and reclaim control of this lane, because they're completely dominating right now. Nice
Flash Cocoon, and this will be a near certain kill on Kog'Maw, but the beautiful tidal wave just cutting at least off right there.
Yeah, Kish actually mispositioned during that fight because he was trying to bait the opponent in, so he still has his crescendo up. Again, a really nice tidal wave coming out from the side of Prime Sentinel from the Star's Nami, so he was able to completely nullify the effects of that gank and effectively burn Necklace Flash for nothing, but they are able to get this dragon.
They will be able to get this dragon, but the ward coverage is there, so...
nice poke from the Star.
And the crescendo landing in max range, the Cataclysm not even proccing, and LeBlanc is going to go in there, but she won't be able to pick anything up if...
I mean, that spear coming out from Miso was really key. Just because of that one javelin toss, they were able to turn the fight completely around, peel off the dragon, and Kish was, completely unhesitant in using his crescendo, because he knew that if he just got one target, the rest of the team would likely hesitate and stutter back and forth.
Exactly.
And also Roar positioned very well that fight. He was able to, start cleaning up, for some reason I thought LeBlanc got a kill. Rabbit is roaming towards the top lane, so let's see if he can find an advantage right here.
But they're saying mid MIA, and I was gonna say Lulu is recalling, but for some reason that is cancelled.
Yeah, he probably knew that the LeBlanc was coming up, so he didn't want Rabbit to cancel his recall. But now he does see LeBlanc going back towards the middle lane, so he'll be able to press his advantages even more.
And now, also another thing that I've noticed is that LeBlanc and Nidalee has been laning pretty undistracted, but...
Yeah, I mean, they've been laning pretty, evenly. The fact that Miso is only losing by, 10 CS? At this point of the game. Yeah. At this point, with these champions, it's really, really impressive.
And now it seems like you talked about the danger of being flanked with this composition, and Triforce build on Kog'Maw seems like a good idea.
I mean, when you need that early mobility, especially since Roar's Kog'Maw is relatively fed, so he's hitting that power spike early, and he's getting the Triforce early, but when you need that mobility, just having the Rage passive is so good. So, nice pickup from Roar's Kog'Maw to get that Trinity Force. Really smart pickup.
Just the difference is about 4,000 gold. The global gold difference reaching to about 4,000, 15 minutes into the game, and it just seems like Invengers, the game is going exactly the way they planned it to be, and also they made a few mistakes, but Prime Sentinel didn't really punish them for that.
Yeah, I mean, Prime, for all the mistakes that the Invengers have made, Prime Sentinel have been equally as aggressive in their moves. Over aggressive in their moves. The move by the Graduate and the Star come to mind when 0903 picked up that really nice double kill. So, the Invengers, unfortunately for Prime Sentinel, I was about to say they can think about trying to, stall this game out, but that's not a really viable option right here.
Tsunami keeps doing that, but it just does not seem like the time to be taunting the enemy when you're this
they're
behind.
getting wrecked right now.
And they're punishing them right there.
This might be a kill. Okay, so really nice use.
Was great Kog'Maw, and here now LeBlanc has used her chains, but the distort is still there. She'll be able to escape.
Oh, nice counter
This
gank.
is a great
really
counter
nice
gank
counter
from
gank.
Jarvan, but Necklet is just stalking Rabbit there, and with the blue buff giving away, which is the real LeBlanc. Nice counter gank right there, but they just don't have enough damage.
I mean, Prime Sentinel at this point is way too far behind to think about fighting the side of the Invengers. I mean, 5,000 gold at only 16 minutes is a huge amount.
Especially against the poke composition.
Against a poke composition.
The things they say about poke comps is that once you get ahead, they can really solidify their lead.
I mean, I think more than that, if you get behind on a poke composition, then you have large problems because that means that the other team is pushing the waves against you. But if you can get a few early towers and then put all of your ranged champions into the middle lane, your Kog'Maw, your Nidalee, then this is the. It becomes pretty bad for the side of Prime Sentinel.
And now the Triforce is complete on the Kog'Maw, and for some reason the Twitch has 3 daggers.
Right. I mean, Twitch is clearly building to the Blade of the Ruined King. Right. He is building to the Blade of the Ruined King. I don't know why he got 3 daggers. It seems maybe he's trying to build Yomumu's, but I don't even know the recipe for that item. But this is. I mean, this is the problem we see right here. So basically, Rabbit is not.
That's Javelin actually landing on Nami. Twitch was going to make a thing, but Flash Crescendo right
nice
there
tidal
on
wave, though.
Twitch. Great tidal wave though, and Kog'Maw is actually caught, and Lulu did get there, but it seems like Prime has gained some from this team fight though.
Right.
You talked about being flanked, and that seems like an occasion, we saw a glimpse of that.
I mean, Golem had a really nice teleport right there, and he was able to get a nice side flank onto the side of the Invengers. Again, Roar was Roar was really over aggressive and really over ambitious with his Kog'Maw. In the previous game, he had a champion in Ezreal that could use Arcane Shift and had a flash up, and also the Nami to kite for him. So he had a chance. Roar was working in a team composition that was really, adapting to him. But this composition is supposed to be built around, Miso's Nidalee. So when you... Oh, that might be a kill.
But that could be a kill.
Nice Glitter Lance. Really nice Glitter Lance.
Right
double
there.
kill.
A double kill on Lulu.
Might be a triple.
And this could be a triple kill. Will the Javelin land? Decent juke over there, but... Again, we've talked about how Prime Sentinel, it seems like they're gonna gain something, but they don't, and at the end of the day, the mid turret goes to the Invengers.
I think the setup Prime Sentinel is actually making all of the right moves. They're fighting in the right times. The biggest problem is that Rabbit's LeBlanc has to use the distortion twice in order to clear waves, and that's really not ideal. So, also because the side of Prime Sentinel is so far behind at this point, they're 6,000 gold down, 3 turrets to 0. They feel really unconfident in engaging fights. So at this point in the game, Prime Sentinel should be pretty desperate right now. I think that they should be trying to, fight whenever they can at this point and try to get the right flanks onto the side of the Invengers.
And they ought to have a lot of map control. And
you pointed out these 3 daggers before. I'm really confused because,
Me too.
The Blade of the Ruined King. So there's the 2 daggers plus the Pirate's Cutlass, so that's 1,000 gold. So what is the other dagger for? Because he already has the Berserker's Greaves.
Does Rena's Hurricane use daggers?
I have no idea.
We're just losing tons of credibility right now. The 3 daggers are confusing me too. That's all I'm thinking about right now as well. And this will be a free dragon, and Invengers just snowballing the advantage. The global gold difference is expanding.
I mean, just
rapidly.
The map movements from the Invengers are so good. I mean,
and now Lulu with the red buff, but Nami there to help him. The bubble does land,
Wild Growth.
but Wild Growth is still there, and the star might be in trouble. And
this might be a double kill.
This could be a double kill.
Nice flash.
Great.
Really nice flash.
Right there, and Nidalee there to help him.
Oh my goodness.
Invengers just undoing everything that Prime Sentinel wants to do, and will Gome be able to escape this? Even there is no turret, and Cocoon, Glitter Lens.
And that is settled. That's an unofficial triple kill for 0903.
And I think I might be wrong, but that is the Dragon Hunter skin on Lulu, right?
Dragon Tamer, I believe it's called.
And she is the Dragon Tamer indeed.
The really special thing about that skirmish right there was that 0903 actually dodged the second distortion from LeBlanc by using her. He flashed out of it. So he was able to extend that fight beautifully, you know, able to whimsy LeBlanc, effectively silence LeBlanc, make her useless, even though Gome was tanking the turret damage, and really that fight just went so well for the Invengers. I mean, 10,000 gold at 20 minutes against this poke composition, so this isn't good.
And right here we go over
this is actually another replay because the graduate actually died. Really nice combo right there. Just tons of bursts coming out.
I mean, Kish, how good is he with his ultimates, with the tidal wave, the crescendo? I mean, is the Kish's R key must be made of gold or something?
Right, I mean... Like the thing is, Kish is a player that knows exactly what his limits are. So, and what the other champions are designed to do. And so that's why he always uses his ultimates so well. His tidal waves are always game changing. His crescendos always seem to obtain kills for the side of the Invengers. So Kish is playing like an all-star right now. I mean, he's outperforming Necklet, and I had Necklet as my player to watch. So really nice to see Kish, the former pro.
Kish outplaying Necklet?
Yeah, come back. I think Kish is outplaying Necklet right now. Because Necklet's the jungler on their side.
Oh, right. Excuse me. Just got a little confused here. And, 22 minutes, 10,000 global gold difference.
Yeah, I mean, they need to demand... The Prime Sentinel really needs to demand a fight right now while they have a slight 5v4 lead, even though 0903 can always teleport in. Because 0903 pushes waves like crazy. So this...
And now you've mentioned they're trying to force a fight. Now the poke onto Kog'Maw comes in, but it seems like
where's the crescendo? Where
is the crescendo? But Kog'Maw kiting so well. And Prime Pocket's team fight, you said they have to force a fight, and they did. So they made the right decision, but just not enough.
The story of that was that Necklet actually got his, Pocket's Jarvan 4 jumped in, but Necklet actually got a really nice cocoon onto the Jarvan 4, completely halted any kind of engage that the Prime Sentinel wanted to pull off, and now this is essentially a free Baron for the side of Invengers.
And with Kog'Maw, Elise, I mean, there's just a lot of damage in the Avengers side.
The thing is, though, that all Prime Sentinel had to do was make sure that they didn't fall behind in the early game and just ward their own side of the map. Because for the most part, the reason why Invengers got so far ahead was because their champions were traveling through the river so much, and the Invengers didn't know.
And just go over this replay for us.
So they missed the cocoon, but unfortunately. Just Roar and Miso are just so fed right now. Also, the tidal wave doesn't hit any of the carries. So when you're that behind, the thing is that the initiate actually wasn't that bad coming out from the side of Prime Sentinel. In normal case, the initiate, I think that Prime Sentinel would have won that team fight given what the champions are. However, when you're down 1,300 gold at 25 minutes, then that's just you get pub stomped.
I was talking to Shai the other day, and he told me actually the best mechanics are items. By that I think he. But now Kog'Maw is picked off here too.
Oh god, that was a kill as well.
Oh, that was a kill. What he meant was that regardless of how well you fight, there is a point when you just cannot overcome an item difference, and that just seems like the case right there. And just Invengers didn't even bother so much with vision control. I mean, they do have wards at the right places, but they're just overpowering Prime Sentinel right now.
And they might end the game right here just because You know, there is already a member of Prime Sentinel down. I think the Invengers can go for the win right here. Depends if Kish does land a pretty big crescendo. Oh, nice play
And
from
with the
0903.
Whimsy just juking the Ethereal Chase so well, and
my
the
goodness.
crescendo,
Yeah.
it did land on Twitch,
on the Twitch,
but
right.
this might be, they might have this team fight,
Yeah,
but
this is interesting
Kog'Maw
right here.
3 deal
Oh,
is
goodness.
just, you just cannot let that
Nice
happen.
flash in.
Flashes forward, now Kog'Maw wants a kill, he wants this, but do not dive into the turret, please. Oh, but this could be.
This might be a
and
kill.
Nami gets killed.
What a disrespectful
Oh, this
kill.
is a disrespect. And a quadra kill again. That was a quadra kill on Kog'Maw, right?
It might have been an unofficial quadra. I wasn't watching that carefully. I mean, Kish didn't even pull off the greatest crescendo, and they were still able to clean up the fight that well. That's how. Oh, come on. Invengers could end this right now. I mean, since the Invengers didn't end right there, the Prime Sentinel might honestly just forfeit. But there isn't a lot that Prime Sentinel can do to come back against this composition. You know, when your Lulu and Nidalee just get that fed and are able to, when there are that many threats on the board, you know, who can Gom focus down? Because, you know, this is going to be the surrender foot right here.
Seems like a surrender. They're all just camping in the base, and we saw Kog'Maw, I mean Twitch throw his
right, there is the surrender vote right there.
LeBlanc, so he's saying. So the teamwork. One thing interesting is that, so it seems like the Prime Sentinel is a team that actually aims to become